So my name is Ankur and I am associated with the EduShastra since last almost 10 years. And I'm mentoring for the student for CAT, GMAT, GRE and various other management and other competitive entrance examinations. Yes, ma'am, please.
Yeah, hi Chirag, this is Namita Singh. I'm a psychologist by profession, and I am working in the area of aptitude development, and hence I try to analyze a lot of tests from across the world and work accordingly. And I have been associated with the EduShastra team for quite some time. In fact, right from its inception, and so I'm here to provide a bit of to make a difference. I mean, to the people I come across. That's all from my side. Over to Mr. Jitender.
Hi Chirag, I am Jitender. I am a teacher, counselor, and associated with EduShastra from last 10 years. And I help students I guide students to get their dream college. Yeah.
Okay. So hi Chirag, once again, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
So Chirag, tell us something which is not there in your resume.
Sure, sir. So basically, I would like to say is that right from my childhood till now, one of the things that have inspired me to work and do better in my life is my father. Because due to my disability, I have always been a problem to look at the blackboard and all, and he was always there to inspire me to do good things. That thing helped me a lot to do more self-study, more getting independent from what because I was not able to look at the class blackboard in my classroom. So that self-confidence, that motivation that I get from my father was really great for my whole life. And it's so sad that just 4 months back I lost him. So yeah, that's the most important thing, sir, which is not there.
Okay. So Chirag, just elaborate the internship or the say projects which you have undertaken during your graduation.
Sure, sir. So during my graduation, I was working as an intern for 6 months with KPMG India as an IT advisory intern. So in that particular internship, I was working in the cloud team, cloud infrastructure team. So what that team does is, if a client wants to shift from the on-premises to the cloud environment, whether it's Google Cloud, whether it's Azure or AWS. So that team helps in analyzing whether the infrastructure the company wants is good or not, like what type of infrastructure will be better, whether it will be public cloud or hybrid cloud or private environment. And they also help in implementation of this team. So I was part of that.
Okay. So what are the front end and the back end tools for this?
So basically, I was part of the Azure team. So basically, we use Azure Console only. That is provided by Microsoft.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And any favorite subject of your graduation?
So I would say data structures.
Okay, data structures. So when you're designing the algorithm and you're designing the flow chart, right? So what is the geometrical symbol you're using for the input statement?
So for input statements, it's ellipse.
Okay. Okay. And for the decision making?
So it's rhombus.
Okay. And what about the linked list? What is linked list?
So basically what linked list help is there are different nodes. Whenever, for example, there are 10 numbers. So linked list help is connecting those numbers from one to the other. There is a head node, there is a tail node, and we can also create different types of linked list. For example, reverse linked list and circular linked list. So basically it is different from array because array takes memory consecutively. And linked list help in taking the memory that is not consecutive. So it helps in memory efficiency.
Okay. Okay. And what about the polymorphism?
So polymorphism is basically, I would say, so basically more than one form of a particular algorithm, I would say. So a particular algorithm, we can say.
Okay.
It can be represented in one or more ways. So that's basically a polymorphism.
Okay.
Nice.
And what is the difference between the objects in class?
So objects are the entities that are present in a class. A class is basically a blueprint of the whole algorithm that we are writing. Objects are entities of that particular class.
So you are having us with the language C and C++ both, or anyone?
So I had actually Java. So yeah.
Okay,
that's fine.
Java.
Yes.
So Java is what kind of language? Java is using the class or the objects?
Yes, sir. It uses both. Like it's object-oriented language. So
Yeah,
it uses objects and classes.
sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how will you write the function for the recursion?
So basically, recursion, what does is it tries to repeat a small step to whatever times we want. For example, we want to run an algorithm that has to run from number 1 to number 100. So in that recursion thing, what we can do is we can write a code for the small step and we can reiterate it either number of times we want. So that helps in code reusability. And yes, the basically a function that is repeating itself is the concept of recursion.
Okay, okay. So, Chirag, what do you do in your spare time?
So I like reading novels. So yeah, that's
Okay.
one of the hobbies.
So, any game, like do you watch IPL? Any favorite team of yours?
So not very much. I am watching side by side, but right now, due to all the pressure, because I lost my father, as I told, so managing my work, managing family, so that is a lot of burden from the last 4 months that I'm trying to capture.
Okay,
So that's
okay,
difficult.
okay. So, what kind of novels do you read?
So both fiction and non-fiction, but mostly I like fiction.
So, any recent one?
So recent one, I read The Silent Patient.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So, and what are your plans, say, for 5 years down the line?
So I would say that right now I want to join the one of the B schools to pursue my graduation, to learn from the diversity that I would be getting from that particular B school, to learn how to implement different things in the business. And after that, I would like to work in the corporate world so that I can get some basic understanding of how the industries work.
Okay,
And after that, I would love to, like, I have some interest towards entrepreneurship. So I would like to implement that knowledge to my particular startup and to build something of my own.
okay, okay. So, thank you, Chirag. Thank you. So, over to you, ma'am.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Hi, Chirag. This is Namita.
Good
And
evening.
yeah, hi. Good evening again, once again. You plan to join FMS, right? And is there a particular unique thing about FMS that attracts you, or do you know anything about FMS? As to what the speciality of FMS? Like every B school has a speciality of its own, right? So, any idea about that?
Particularly, I would say one of the things that, yeah, we should not mention, but yeah, ROI, right? The kind of fee structure that it provides, it's really beneficial for the students, because it's a mindset that when a person has 25 lakhs of loan on his head, so when the time comes for placements, there is a lot of pressure on the student, and that pressure do not help him in choosing what is beneficial for his career. Rather, he tries to get what is better so that he can repay the loan.
Correct.
So that financial independence helps a lot, and I would say that's the best thing which it provides.
Okay. And FMS often says, like, they try to make a difference between management education and business administration. That is the difference between management education and business management. So what is your say on this? Do you see a difference between the two? Management education and business management.
Ma'am, I would say that management education is a kind of theoretical knowledge, I would say, and business development is more towards the practical things. So yeah, taking some management education can help us to land some particular corporate job, to pursue well in that particular organization. But having some business knowledge will help us to grow something from the scratch. So I would like to say, yeah, that there is some difference. And
yeah, because they say we don't just teach students for business management. FMS believes that we don't just teach students for business management, we teach them for management education, like for management as a concept, overall concept. So technically speaking, what they mean is like business management is a kind of subset of management education. So try to do, and it specializes in MBA marketing. Like if you ask me, like what FMS focuses on, it is MBA marketing mostly. So do you have any interest in marketing? Because is that something that you would like to learn a little more about?
Yes, ma'am. Basically, I do, because right in my graduation, I tried to be part of different committees in my college. So I was part of the international affairs. So during that time, I somewhat got interest into this field, into especially marketing. And I was also part of one of the NGOs, that is Rotaract Himalayan, and I was part of public relations team. So yeah, working in these two different fields did bring some interest about working towards marketing. So I am somewhat inclined towards this.
Yeah. And they also focus on collaborative leadership. So do you have any idea about that? Collaborative leadership.
I don't have, but I can guess if you want.
Yeah. See, I can give you an example. For example, if you ask me about the particular unique flavor of FMS, they say one unique thing that separates FMS from rest of the, big IIM schools in India, like big, management schools in India, that is even from IIMs, they say that the people who work for us, they try to stay back even when the college is over, like even when the day is over. So they like to stay on the campus. They try to do something for the campus development. I mean, they work after the post-class development for the institution. So they work for institutional development of the campus and things like that. So technically speaking, and collaborative leadership, like if you ask me, it has something to do with like, your teachers going to go for consultancy work. So the learning is going to be some kind of ongoing learning. And then what they learn, they impart it to the students like you, right? So this is what it means basically. So it focuses a lot on collaborative leadership. And finally, in your resume, I noticed one very interesting thing. You were the first runner for the India level hackathon.
Yes, ma'am. Smart India hackathon.
So what kind of, do you plan to be a hacker? And
really,
what kind of hacker?
That's not basically, ma'am, hacking. That's hackathon is basically a coding competition. So so that is one of the competitions organized by Government of India. So in that particular competition, we build a medical chatbot. So what that chatbot does is bases on the person's age, gender, and what type of symptoms of a particular disease he is facing. When the person enters these three things, on the analysis of our software, it tries to determine the best disease that a person could have, and it does it with 90% accuracy. Also, there was a feature of giving the information regarding the nearby hospitals to that person. And there was also one feature of like if some person has an emergency and he cannot go to the hospital right at the moment. So it also provides some home-based remedies, which the whole data set was prepared by us only because it wasn't available on any of the websites.
So, and then you have a lot of interests in debate competition and declamations.
Yes.
So what kind of, tell me a little about that also.
Sure. So, ma'am, right from the school, I tried to participate in debates, like both English and Hindi debates and declamation competitions. So yeah, and in college as well, we have the annual fest. So there are different competitions which are held, like debate competition and all. So I usually try to participate in all those competitions. So yeah, that's basically.
Okay. Great. And other than these basic things related to management and what you have done, what is something unique that you can impart? Suppose if FMS takes you tomorrow, right? And if you notice, FMS also puts they actually don't put much emphasis on work X, right? Something
Right.
like that. So they
Right.
say work X is fine. This could be an added plus point for a person, but then work X is not a must. So they're even ready to consider people with zero work X or something like that. But then from everybody, they expect something unique to contribute to. So what could be your unique contribution to FMS, batch of the FMS?
I would say that um, I'm always consistent from right from my childhood. Like even in every class, I have tried to get more and more that I can. And even due to the problems that I faced at every moment of the life, because when you have some disability, there
Right,
is a limitation that
right,
always tries to hampers you. But when you overcome that problem,
right.
that make you a very different person.
Yes.
So being that person, trying to achieve everything in a consistency in your whole life, like if
Mhm.
you try to get by grades in every class, I have tried
Right.
to maintain a proper consistency at every moment, whether
Mhm.
it's academics, whether it's non-academics. Even due to my disability, I tried to participate in different NGOs. I was working constantly for my academics. I was going outside from my college working towards NGO. The NGO was like very far away from my college, but still I was working continuously for 1 year. So
Mhm.
this consistency, I think I would provide to this college, and that would be great for everyone.
Great. So I think just keep thinking about these ideas, and I'm, handling the mantle to Jitendra sir, and we'll come back to once he's through with it.
Sure.
So sir, over to you.
Yeah. Hi, Chirag. So you talked about entrepreneurship and startups. So which startup amazes you a lot? Like which startup you want your startup to be look like? Do you want to follow that trajectory?
So I would say Zomato.
Zomato. Why?
So I would say Zomato because the kind of trajectory that they followed, the kind of data that they are collecting from the customers is great for the long term. When a particular startup looks at the long term side, there is a lot of potential that they can get from not 4 5 years, but through the long term side. So that basic thing helped me a lot, because right at this moment, data that a company is collecting is very important for them, for everyone right now, because yeah, it's the kind of
Zomato.
thing that yeah.
Zomato. Okay. So you talked about marketing, and we know about Steve Jobs. He said that marketing is all about values. What do you have to say about that? Marketing is
Uh,
not about the product only, it's about the values. So you can say something about that?
Sure, sir. So basically, I would say that marketing is about the values, because it's not about only the sale that you are making for the product. It is basically about the connection that you are building to the customer, the kind of brand image that you are creating in the minds of the customers. That is most important, instead of creating just sales, just increasing the volume of the sales, because the network that you are building with the customer, if that is strong, the sales will automatically come. So I would say this is the most important thing for marketing.
What things you want to do as in a startup? Like, what are your ideas? Can you just elaborate on that? You said you had some ideas. Can
No,
you
no,
elaborate on those ideas?
no, sir. Actually, I didn't say about like I have some ideas. It's just that I have some keen interest
You
towards.
have some keen entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
Why?
right.
Why do you have that? Just you
So
want to for money or generation of employment, or what attracts you towards entrepreneurship?
towards building something of our own. That's it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fine. So let's move from entrepreneurship to some current affairs. So you know about the situation in Sri Lanka.
Yes, sir.
So why did it happen? Do you have do you have keen interest in the world news and all?
Yes, sir.
So why do you think it happened in Sri Lanka, the situation they are in right now?
Sure, sir. So I would say that the main revenue that Sri Lanka was generating was from one factor was tourism, and the other factor was the export of garments. So yeah, these particular things. So due to the COVID situation, and also the blasts that happened before the COVID in Sri Lanka. These two factors hampered the most of the tourism in Sri Lanka. Second thing, due to the COVID situation, again, the supply chain disrupted, and the I would say the export thing, it hampered greatly. So yeah, these are the two factors. Then what Sri Lanka did is it felt in the debt trap, because China built a port in Sri Lanka that was not at all feasible for them to gain revenues. Even US and India tries to explain them that this is not at all beneficial, you should not invest in that project. But China was the one who wanted that the project should fail, and they actually wanted to capture that, and that situation actually happened. So the problem right now is that whatever they are earning, that all the amount is going into just paying the debt. So yeah, that is one of the reasons that Sri Lanka is in such a bad condition right now.
Okay, but COVID is for everyone, right?
Yes.
For every country. Why
Right.
specifically that what's happening in Sri Lanka is not, it's only happening in Sri Lanka only because there are many countries who are dependent on tourism,
Right.
but still situation is not that dim, not that ugly. Why is it in Sri Lanka?
So I would say Sri Lanka is a country that is dependent a lot on the imports.
Okay.
So the supply chain disrupted. Second thing is there are some bad decisions taken by the government. For example, just a few time back, they said that they should shift to the organic cultivation. So directly at one moment, shifting to organic cultivation is not at all beneficial for any country, because it will lack in the crops will not be beneficial. They will not be even complete for the country. The kind of export is a different topic. So that some of the decisions taken by government were not at all beneficial for the country, I would say. So this is also a reason that Sri Lanka is
Misgovernance.
Yes.
Okay. So Chirag, please tell us about your job in TCS as a system engineer. What are your roles and responsibilities?
Sure, sir. So right now we are working for a project. We are working for a client who wants to shift from on-premises to cloud. So I am working as a data analyst. We try to analyze the whole infrastructure of the data, that how the data is stored, and we are trying to shift it on the cloud. So yeah, we are so at present the data is present in Oracle, and we are trying to shift it to Yugabyte. So this is
okay. So to a layman, how will you explain what is cloud? Complete layman, he doesn't know anything about this thing. How will you explain cloud?
So I would explain like, suppose a company do not have its own infrastructure. They have nothing, not even a small disk that they can store their data on their own. So what they does is they just rent some other company that please give us some space. We want you to store our data and we will pay for it, whether it's monthly basis, whether it's on annual basis. So this is the basic concept of cloud, that we are renting some other company that please give us some space. We don't have the money to invest in the whole infrastructure to build it, and we will pay you annually or biannually, whatever means. So yeah, we are just renting the space from them.
Okay, so you're actually giving your data to someone else.
Right.
Don't you think it's dangerous? Like data is the most important thing.
No, so
because for a
yes, sir. Continue.
Yeah. So because for a layman, he will say the data, you're giving your data to someone else. Right, so don't you think it's kind of a dangerous thing? They might use it for their own, or do you have some answer for that?
So basically, when we are giving them data, so we have the whole access for that, and we are the only one. For example, when a person is renting some private infrastructure, so we are the only ones who can control that. So yeah, there are a lot of security features which are there in every environment, whether it's Azure, whether it's GCP, whether it's AWS. They all provide a lot of security measures, and the kind of risk of security is very limited right now.
Okay, Chirag, this will be it from my side. Now over to Ankur sir for the verdict.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Chirag. Welcome again.
Thank you, sir.
So how was the interview?
So it was average, I would say, like at least above, somewhat above average, because yeah, I was able to answer some questions. Some I was like, I think the answers were not appropriate time. So yeah, a
Okay,
bit of
so
that.
basically, like, say, as you're talking about that, you are going for a marketing institution, and ma'am was saying that way the FMS is very famous for the marketing,
Yes.
and you're talking about that way Sri Lanka is having a disruption in the supply chain management, and now they're not getting the market to sell their product. Right. So ideally, the thing is this that the China is deleting and destroying their market, and they want that they should sell and they should do everything as per the wish of China. Right. So this is again one of the reason that
Yes.
they are facing such a problem. Right. So this is again the marketing question indirectly.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, sir. Right.
And when I was just discussing that, what are the linked lists, what are the polymorphism and all these things. So, see, I suppose that you have studied all these things in a say first year or the second year of your engineering,
Yes, sir.
right? Later on, you must be shifted for the Java, the basic Java or the advanced Java, right?
Right,
And algorithm, data structure, automata, and all those things,
right, sir.
right? So these are the concepts which you have studied in the first year or second year, right? And they are the very basic concept, right? So what I suggest, just do a revision,
Yes,
right?
sir.
But when you are talking about all the things, then you should also elaborate that, okay, I have studied the Java and some of the concepts which are not there in the Java, right? Say if I talk about the class and objects, right?
Yes, sir.
So can I say that the language C is having a class structure,
Yes, sir.
right? And when because there are some limitations, then we have developed the OOPS, that is an object-oriented
Object-oriented
programming,
programming.
right?
Yes.
And the first object-oriented programming language was C++. Then there are some experiments, .NET and other languages were there, right? And then Java was there.
Yes, sir.
So Java was the very advanced version of the OOPS
Oops.
programming.
Right.
Right. So class and objects are a two different thing, and these are the two different features of two different languages.
Okay, sir.
Right. So I cannot include class in the object. So object is the other thing and class is the other thing.
Yes.
Right. So and this is we are saying that the C is a say normal programming language which is based on classes, and the C++ is a object-oriented programming language.
Right.
Right. So these two are the different things. So you mixed these two in a one thing. Right. So, but yes, very confidently. So that is one positive thing. Right.
Yes.
And if I go through the CV, the resume, so when you go to the bottom part, right, so you have extracurricular activities and other things. So my suggestion is make us say some bullets, right? You have written a different points, but there is a no bullets, right? So make them bullet, maybe I say 1, 2, 3, or maybe a take sign, dot sign, whatever, so that anyone can understand, okay, this is the 1 point, this is the next point, this is the next point. Right. Presently, the look is like that. This is some passage which is distorted in the writing, right? Because some line is ending here, some are ending here, some are ending here. So this seems to be like a passage which is having a system distorted configuration.
Right.
Right. So otherwise, everything is fine. But what I say, just say revision of some basic fundamental and revision of the selected current affairs, just like the situation of Russia and Ukraine, right? Just like the situation of this Sri Lanka, right? And as you're going for a marketing institution, so I suppose if you follow the stock market.
Not, sir. No.
Okay, so just what I suggest, just please follow and just read, because if you see that today is approximately 2.3% of down, approximately 1100 to 1200 point, the Bombay Stock Exchange is down.
Yes,
right? And this is like waving, going up, down, approximately 500 plus minus points are daily up and down, right? So why is this? So even the government is strong, even the economy is strong, government is putting up and foreign investment is coming up, right? Still the market is not going up. Why? Right, so these all general things are required, and otherwise everything is fine. And yes, very best of luck for you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, sir. Best
So-
of luck, Chirag.
Thank you, ma'am. So I just have one question. Like, sir asked me regarding the entrepreneurship. So,
Mhm.
like he said that why you built some interest in entrepreneurship, and I didn't have an answer for that. So, what can be a proper answer for this question?
No, the answer is there in your interview itself, as you're saying that you like the Zomato,
Yes, sir.
right? So why Zomato, right? You are saying that they are having say some interesting policies, right? Zomato is a one company which is giving the menstrual leave for the female employees. This is the first company. Even the TCS is having approximately 33% of the female employee all across the world. But still they haven't thought of this kind of leave for the female employee. Right, so there are some initiatives, and there are some and even you have heard and seen the news in the past, and there was say some porter who was distributing food. He was eating the food, right? So all those things were there, but still Zomato is going strong and strong. Right, so entrepreneurship is basically as you are going strong. You can take an example of like Air India. Right, when the Air India was with the government, so they were running in the losses. Now, when the Tatas has purchased it, so they have cleared all the past dues, and even the salaries and everything are on time now. So this is what that is entrepreneurship of Tatas in the Air India.
Right, sir.
So entrepreneurship is not like you are starting from a scratch. Right, you are say some startup or something. That is like your some decision which is making some remarkable change in the system.
Right, sir.
Can I just chip in?
Yes,
It is
yes.
also about creativity and the happiness that you get out of creating something of your own. So when this question was asked, you ultimately could touch this on this point. You said, I want to create something of my own, and I want to experience the joy of when I am able to create something of my own. So this could be the very starting point of your answer for why entrepreneurship, and you being creative. By doing that, you're being creative, and you're being very out of the box. It allows you to think in a very out of the box thinking, like the kind of some offs, or the kind of the chuttis that are thought for female employees of Zomato, right? So kind of, so you can think of that. And you often use this term disability. You can say that the so-called disability has allowed me to broaden my mental framework. It has broadened me the way I think. I have realized this is just a mental the obstruction that I had put before myself. Once I was able to cross it, I know only the sky is the limit. When I can touch on any boundary. There's no boundaries for me. I'm just kind of there are limitless opportunities for me. So instead, so use the word disability, but change it into capability. So my disability has taught me that what capability is all about. It has allowed me to break the mental boundaries I had put before myself. It is just a mental boundary. So thank God I've been able to break it. Say like that, right?
Thank you.
So that's all from my side.
Instead of using a word disability, I suggest that use the word differently able.
No. It's like you can say so. Normally, we don't use the word disability anymore.
Yeah.
So God has this is the special ability God has given me.
Yes, yes.
And once I was able to go beyond it, I know the creativity has no limits. There are no more limits for me. I'm limitless. I've become a limitless person, something like that. Yeah.
And as Jitender was asking about the tourism in Sri Lanka and everything, right? So you must have seen this Oyo rooms, right? So this all depend on the tourism, the movement of the person, right? The employee is coming from one city to the other city and everything. So you are giving a reason that okay, the corona, the COVID situation hampered the economy of the Sri Lanka because of the tourism. But what about the Oyo?
Right, sir.
If the Sri Lanka is hampered, Oyo should also be hampered. But they are not.
Right, sir.
So there must be some more regions for Sri Lanka.
Right, sir.
Right. So try to find out them.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Best of luck, Chirag.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
best
you,
of
thank
luck.
you, best of luck. Thank you.